Welcome back to another commercial trucking chronicles. I'm your boy Swizzy. Good morning, Grand Rising. I'm here early with you guys today. Pretty early. I mean, I got an early jump on the morning anyway, my day and everything. So I started out pretty early over here. I do it anyway. I just pretty much do that. But I came to the yard early today because I wanted to do a little walk around inspection or just do my pre-trip inspection on the truck before I take off. Before I get the day started, before we get rolling. You know what I'm saying? A couple of things that I have, uh, couple of things that have come across, my radar, so to speak. One of them is how there's um, there's been some changes, a lot of changes that's been made with the DOT. Um, um, how they track and keep scores on the drivers. Uh, and there's also been there's been some news too about how um, they've been cracking down, man. You know what I'm saying? DOT's cracking down a lot of the, because of a lot of the um, you know recent accidents and you know people losing their lives and people's loved ones and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Getting caught in the mix because of a lot of the uh, how they call it, a lot of the non-domicile drivers and stuff like that, and a lot of the chameleon trucking companies. Um, Guys, they mess it up pretty bad for us out here, man. They mess it up pretty bad, and now the DOT is really cracking down. You know what I'm saying? DOT really starting to have the penalties and stuff like that. That when you go on to the FMCSA the website, and you go and you check your I want to say it's your DAC report or something. Um, if you have any violations and stuff like that on your record, or if you had inspections and stuff like that, and you get these inspections, and a lot of times you think it goes on the company, because it's their equipment. As you can see, I'm here at the job with the trucks, but a lot of time, but you the driver, so you liable. It goes on your report. You know what I'm saying? The DOT is cracking down on all of these points and things that they racking up on guys now. That it's like it's 10 times worse. It's 10 times worse. You know, you got to be a better driver out here. You know what I'm saying? You got to be more safe out here. You got to do your pre trips, drive safe. You know, um, follow the rules of the road. What else can I tell you? You know what I'm saying? Because the DOT is not playing. They ain't playing, and you get more and more and more. I see a lot more people that make the content that are telling people, man, listen, man, they're not playing. They cracking down, and they're actually out to take your license. They're actually out to try to decrease. All the guys that been on the road for years and you veterans out here and stuff like that, man. A lot of people got real comfortable. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, you're making all this money and stuff, and some guys are just, they're like, man, I'm getting closer to retiring. I'm not, I don't care anymore. Well, I'm not gonna say that that's the attitude, but some of the guys, well, a lot of the newer people that are coming in, if they don't see that the older people, even some of these instructors of these schools and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? If they not really trying to really tell you the game, like, listen, you come out here, You need to be inspecting your vehicle. You need to be making sure your logs is, you know what I'm saying, right. You can't be, there's no, because a lot of companies will try to push you to run over them logs, run illegal and stuff like that. Who's it? Who's that? Oh, well, we'll fix it. We'll correct it. We'll correct it. But what happens if you get caught, right? And you don't have all your logs intact. When they download, see, well, what you gonna say? You can't say nothing. You know you hit, but the penalties now, they're gonna take them licenses from you, man. They're gonna take your this your livelihood. They're gonna take that away from you. You know what I'm saying? And you know, kiss all that good money out the door. Just kiss it goodbye. No more. You gotta get back out. I know people right now, that they had their license and they wind up losing their license because of them being negligent, the drivers being negligent, not doing what they need to do, you know, to get to keep to hold on to the license, right? And the instructor told me too when I got my license, said, "Yeah, man, you passed that test, man. You know what? You got them now. Now you got to keep them. Now you got to just when you get out there, don't let these companies set you up. Don't look. If I gotta go to bat with my employer, look, man, these tires and stuff like this, man, these tires, they ain't meeting the DOT standard for road safety, man. And I can't operate the vehicle, man. You want me to make the money? How y'all doing? I appreciate everybody for you know, hitting the like button. But listen, I can't hit the road. I can't just go out there. You have to think about it, man. A lot of times, and I know because I was I had trucks too on the road, but one thing I didn't do was I never handed keys over to somebody with some equipment that I wouldn't drive myself. I had one of my drivers, and when I went to go, I told him, I used to let him take the truck home, but then I told him, no, bring it over here. Bring it and park it over here because I need to look the truck over and make sure that it's cool. So I took it up to the one exit up. I took it for a ride. One exit up. My steering wheel was shaking like this. I said, I'm ready to fire him. I'm ready to fire him. Like, bro, why you ain't tell me the truck was doing that, man? You know what I'm saying? Negligence. And then see, would it come back on me? But then again, a lot of times, I figured that it would come. I'm the owner, so if anything happened, yeah, it's gonna come back to me. But if he would have got pulled over, it would have went on his license, right? And once you get them strikes on your license, they gonna follow you. They're following you. It's time. It's like it's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Do your pre-trips. You know what I'm saying? Don't just do a walk around inspection. And I done got comfortable myself here with this company where I'm working at, where I used to just do a walk around inspection and I look at it and I kick the tires. And basically that's it, right? But nah, it's more to that, because I notice there's things, but I don't, you know, it's like you have to say something. You got to say something. I don't, and a lot of times I know it may be costly to the boss and stuff. And we have an account where we can go get tires, right? And I'm telling you, man, the more tires you got, that's like the more, you know, I, my first truck, it wasn't a problem. The second truck, it wasn't a problem. When I got that trailer, oh, I got a whole bunch of tires blowing now. It seemed like every time we did a delivery, they did something, a tire would blow. I'm like, what the fuck? I just got these tires. But you want to keep making that money. You want to be safe out here. So of course you got to make sure that saying your equipment is roadworthy, right? They look good and shiny and new, these damn trucks, but you got to be, your tires got to be to the tread depth they need to be, and I mean, I'm not saying blow the scale house, you know what I'm saying? You know, just don't get on the highway. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they'll tell you that. They will say, just don't get on the highway, man. We're going to try to avoid as much as we can. All right, I understand that. But, you know, they're on these back roads too, man. You know what I'm saying? They're going to pull you over at some point, right? So it's best to stay on top of the maintenance. And we got a we got a real good mechanic over here at this company where I'm working at. I feel sorry for that man because these trucks take a lot of wear and tear, and there's a lot of tires. There's a lot of trucks, right? It's a lot of, you know, uh, maintenance that has to go into a fleet like this. You know what I'm saying? And when I first, when I before I started my trucking company, I had a vision of, a fleet this size, actually bigger. You know what I'm saying? And that was my thing. Oh, let me get some of this coffee. This good old coffee, you guys. I got that. Make sure you get you a cup. Shit's hot. Whew. So I had a. That's where originally my initial thoughts was to get into the dump trucks, and that was the first truck that I bought. I still own the dump truck, but then I got into the tractor trailers. So initially, like I said, my vision was, just a fleet of trucks, dump trucks, like 100 or 200 of them. I remember, I never forgot that, right? But it never really dawned on me all of the liability at that time. It was just, that was the vision. You know what I'm saying? The bigger the fleet, and I said it before, stay small and take it all. There's that saying. But you know, when you start looking into government work, they'll scale you. Excuse me, they're gonna scale your business up. That's what they're gonna do. They're going to scale your business up to, you know, their requirements. Otherwise, you out the door. They bring the next contractor in, you know. And that's not just in the dump trucks. I mean, you could be a government fleet owner, a fleet owner that does government work, like, moving military equipment around. I move military equipment around. You know what I'm saying? I've moved mail. You think you're not working for the government doing that, right? But it's just one of those things that I just recently saw a video, and then, it was like, you're following distance. Like, guys, slow down, keep your following distance. So when you're on the highway, make sure you maintain that 6 seconds, that you need to be behind that vehicle that's in front of you. Don't be all up on these people, putting pressure on them and stuff, trying to, force them to get out your way, because that's gonna go against you. And you're not even gonna know that they put that on you until you go look and see on your scores, your on your DAC report. Um, if they clock you or something like that, they got there's this thing that they have out here right now, right? They set it up. It's like it's a camera. It's a camera, and uh, it will zoom right into the vehicle that's oncoming. And they're using it right now as a test phase for the commercial vehicles. Eventually, it's going to be for all vehicles. All right, so everybody really need to take note to this one, right? If you don't have your seatbelt fastened, it's going to spot you. It's going to get your plate number and all of that. So you wind up getting either pulled over down the road, and if everybody, I don't think that they're going to try to get everybody, because they know they can't stop everybody, but they're using it, like I said, in the test phase. And I've I've seen so many drivers that, have been caught by that camera, and then, they get down the road somewhere, or they point to the scale house, and the DOT hand them a ticket. What are you giving me this ticket for? You ain't had your seatbelt on back there. What do you mean? Yes, I did. No, you didn't. And then they show them the video footage. See what I'm saying? Like, they cracking down out here, man. You know? And so you guys gotta be careful, man. I mean, and especially if it's livelihood, man. Come on. You want to just throw that away because you don't want to click it? So, and I gotta actually, practice what I preach over here too, because I can jump in the truck and just forget, you know what I'm saying. But you got to make it a habit, just like, you close the door and throw it in gear. Make sure strap up. You know what I'm saying? Strap up. Yeah, I need to be strapping up out there. But I'm trying to tell you that, because they're coming down, and you won't even know it. Like I said, like a regular vehicle is, you're not pulling into the scale house where they can hand you points that will go on your license. It's hard to get them off, and um, you're less desirable when you don't have a clean record to an employer or to a fleet that's going to hire you. Just because you have a class A and you come in there, I ain't had a ticket in a long time. I ain't been pulled over. But you haven't been pulled over, but you've been caught on camera. And they got these cameras out here, and these cameras, they will flag you. And once they flag you, yeah, the fleet owner gonna probably get it. Now that's the other thing. Your boss gonna wind up getting a notification from the FMCSA. New subscriber over here, Matt Fields. Appreciate you, man. Stay safe out there, Matt, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep trucking if you're a driver. But that's what I'm saying to you guys, man. You know, um, the DOT, and we work with the DOT. I work with the highway guys and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? There's usually DOT, Department of Transportation, guys are always on site. However, the DOT can actually come to the job site. We'll be on site. When we're doing this road construction. But like I said, man, they're not out there to make to ruin your life, man. I do American Truck Simulator content. That's what's up, Matt Fields. Matt Fields does Go, y'all go subscribe to Matt, man, for trucking simulator content, because Matt does it. So you have the simulations and stuff. That's what's up. I'm gonna check out your channel too. So please, I hope you guys that's do subscribe. Thank everybody for subscribing, for supporting this channel. you know. And if you got content up there, you'll see. I'm gonna go up there, and I do. I go through. Yo, some people on my daggone subscribers. I thank you guys for subscribing, but I'm like, what the hell? Who are these? What the y'all got going on? And I be some of y'all don't have no content, and I get it. But for the ones that do, like Matt, go check him out, man. You know what I'm saying? And support his channel, man. And enjoy visiting my cousin and your auntie. Well, be safe. I know that traffic down there in Georgia is a beast, man. I can't stand driving through Georgia, man, on 85, man, or 20 or none of that, man. You know what I'm saying? To try to get over there, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's like where all the people coming from and where they going. That's the big question. All right. So yeah, that's I wanted, just put that out there for you guys, man. Let y'all know that gotta play by the rules, man. Because if you want to continue to bring that quality check. And I work with quality turf right now, QT. And, and if I want to continue to make some quality, it's pretty quality over here. I give it to them, man. You know what I'm saying? For what we do, yeah, you're compensated over here pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I got this guy coming on racially, making comments. The algorithm is going to eat that up. I'm not. And on top of that, make sure you put the RICH or WEALTHY in front of all them other letters, because you're looking at somebody that's got it, good, good. You get it, got it, good. All right. So we're going to continue on. However, let's see. You got that. You got that, friend. Um, do yourself a favor out there when you're driving. Keep in mind that the safety of the motoring public is our number one priority. You know, no one and nobody stop us. but you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're less desirable to an employer, because they're going to have to put you on the insurance. They're going to have to, look you up in the system, and you don't want, stuff like that to cause you, to not be able to get in the truck and do what you love. Which, a lot of us, we love trucking, man. These machines is a beast. You know, you got to be safe out here. I remember, let me tell you a story one time, right? Um, I was doing, and this is the crazy thing. This is why I say about some, do not, guys, don't let a dispatcher or anybody put you in jeopardy, or your license or your life in jeopardy. And that's what I mean about driving over your hours too. You need to get your proper rest. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I went to go pick up big rolls of paper. That them rolls of paper, that's heavy. That's heavy duty, right? And then I'm gonna set this right here, right there, record and stuff, right? So I went to go get the big rolls of paper, right? And I'm doing an inspection on the trailer that I'm picking up, right? So um, they were using reefer trailer. You can use a reefer for drive-in and reefer. You know what I'm saying? The company actually was it was a reefer. It was a refrigerated. They did refrigerated. They usually 90% of their contracts was hauling um, from Tyson, Cargill, or Tyson, Cargill, and I forget the other. But they used to go to the slaughterhouses and used to pull meat, right? So um, in between loads, sometimes you might have they may dispatch you to go do something like go pick up rolls of paper, and that'll get you when you drop that off. It'll get you over in proximity to your next load, which is going to be, you know, um, Tyson, Cargill, or I forget what's the other one. I forget. It was out in the Midwest. Okay, so I go to get the paper. I go to get the paper. I go to get the trailer. Right. So I'm doing my pre-trip inspection. Don't you know, like underneath the daggone thing, it wasn't. Like, I go like this, and the whole thing was swinging. And that was the tank. That was the tank, because reefer. You got it's a refrigerated trailer, so you got to fill that up with diesel, so that it's temperature controlled in there and stuff. So the tank was swinging. I'm like, I didn't. Everything was staying still. Everything, I'm just like right now. If I'm looking at, I kicked the tires, walked around, did everything. So I had to. They had all the tandems slid to the back. So once I got in and connected to the trailer, then I slid the tandems up, because I'm not going to ride down the road with your tandems all the way to the very rear. That's going to make it very hard to make turns, especially in and you get in traffic and you're at a red light or something or whatever. It's very hard for you to make the turn without going so wide. It's just you want to slide your tandems forward. So I went and I got in and I connected to the trailer. I found the trailer I'm supposed to take. I did a walk around inspection. Everything looked good because it was sitting still. The minute I slid them tandems, boom. Then I got out to make sure I was in the right hole, and I seen the tank swinging. Don't you know? I called the people and I said, "Hey, this trailer's got, I look, and then the straps, because there's straps up there, the straps were broken. Now, I don't know who dropped that trailer like that, but thankfully I picked up on it before I, start headed down the road with it. So I called dispatch, and I was trying to, convey to them, hey, listen, this trailer, and it was loaded. They had the load in there I was coming to get. They had already loaded it. I said, I'm sorry, I can't take this load. I said, y'all got to get somebody out here, roadside, to come fix this, or I can't take the load. And it was hot. I don't care. What you want me to do? I said, just my luck. And the tank is full. I said, just my luck. I go down the highway. She said, well, can't you take it somewhere to get it fixed? What do you mean take it somewhere to get it fixed? I'm not taking this thing nowhere. I'm not moving this trailer 2 feet. I'm not going nowhere. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to jeopardize my life, the motoring public, or anybody's life. I'm not doing that. You either send somebody out here to fix it. I'll wait. I don't care how long it takes. Reschedule the load to get dropped off, because they got a scheduled time. So everything got to be, they want to get it in motion. They want you to get there and pick it up by this time. And there was nobody at the facility. Nobody at the facility. They got like a little cubby hole. You can go there and get your paperwork. So there was nobody at that facility when I got there. I couldn't talk to nobody and say, hey, what's going on with this trailer? Can you guys, unload it and put it into another trailer? So they basically set me up, right? And they'll do that. Don't think these dispatchers won't do that. You got to be safe, like Matthew Fields said. You know what I'm saying? You gotta choose, you know what I'm saying, and choose right. That's it. You got a choice to make. And I had a choice to make, right? So I told them, so I'm not moving it. Oh, were they mad? I don't care. What are you gonna do? Fire me? I don't care. My license is good. And I'm gonna keep it like that. So, I can go somewhere else, there's no problem. But I'm not gonna let you get me jammed up with a faulty trailer. This day, I said, and it's just my luck, it could be and it was a holiday weekend or something. That's why the people weren't there. I picked it up. And I said, just my luck, these people are out for the holiday. I drive by somebody and boom, something happens, right? And it can be an old lady, I said, nah, the worst case scenario. I said, nah, I'm not doing it, man. I'm sorry. They were mad, but I didn't do it. I said, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not doing it. You know, I fired my dispatcher. I said, you're fired. I fired him. I was a lease driver. You know what I'm saying? You can't fire me. Oh, yeah. And then I told him, I said, listen, I called the head people. I said, if you get me another dispatcher, either he goes or I go. Because I'm not going to, no, you giving me these loads and all this other crap. At one point, I wasn't making no money. You know what I'm saying? And you're giving me these small little loads of load, and then you want me to swap with somebody and give them my good load so that I take their load. Well, he's trying to go home, and that load is going in the direction. I said, well, tell him to take his ass home. But you ain't gonna take my load. You feel me? No, we're not doing that. You wanna go home, go home for the holiday. We gonna go home with a check too, right? My check. Yeah, out of here. Stupid. I'm not. I was. They didn't like me. They didn't like me because I stood up for myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you got to do out here, man. So I'm gonna end this, but I want you guys to really, really, really think about something, right? Is it worth your career to allow, somebody who's, just, wanting to try to, be, I don't know, like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You're going to pay like you weigh over here, man. This is big boy stuff here, man. You know what I'm saying? So when it come down to it, and that tire blow, you ain't making no money. You know what I'm saying? When something else goes wrong, when you put out of service because of some small stuff, that put you out of service for a headlight. You ain't making no money. Somebody got to come out there and fix it, right? You don't want to get put out of service because that's gonna go on your record too, driver. You've been put out of service. They're gonna say you didn't. The company can't make no money, but it's going on your record, right? You didn't pre-trip this truck. You just went driving down the highway knowing, or they're gonna assume you know. You say, yeah, I did my pre-trip. Oh, really? Well, when did the light go out? It must have went out when I hit that bump back there. King says, stay safe on the road. I appreciate that, man. You're right about that, man. You know. So I'm gonna get to my pre-trip, man, so I can make sure that everything is working properly over here. But this truck is a brand new truck. But you know what? I noticed a lot of these new trucks, they have more problems than the old ones. They have more problems than the old ones, man. They set these trucks. A lot of these trucks, man, they look good. I'm shocked. And I came in early because I want to power wash my truck too. I'm gonna do a little, I'm gonna do my pre-trip. I got a little time to like shine it up and wipe it down and everything. Cause when I be coming through, them guys are always telling me, your truck look good, man. You keep it clean, man. I take pride in this truck is I don't own it. I drive it every day. You know what I'm saying? The same way I take pride in my trucks that I'm not driving right now, but they're parked. Man, I got one that's a little dirty. It's dirty on the inside. It's just a bunch of stuff in there. I'm gonna clean it up. I don't even like to go over and look at it. I check on my trucks a lot, and I go and I look at them like, I need to clean that truck up, man. Even though it's sitting, this ain't how I don't move like this. You know what I'm saying? But you got to take pride in your equipment, and you got it don't matter whether you own it or you don't. I so many guys will sit on. I don't even, that ain't your truck. Well, technically it is, and technically it isn't. But when they put the keys in my hand, it's my truck. Everybody's gonna look at you like it's your truck. It's your responsibility. You may not be the one that her name is on the title. Hell, the owner's name probably still ain't on the title. This is still being paid for, right? He don't even own it. He's leasing it, right? You got a whole fleet of them like that. Somebody got to take responsibility as if it's theirs. That's you, man. That's you, man. So take some pride in your job. Take some pride in what you do. You know what I'm saying? It used to be the truck drivers that they were well respected, but I think because every people that have so little pride these days in trucking, that's why the industry is going to crap. Man, B just pulled up, so everybody's starting to come in. So I got to get to it, man. I got to get to it. But I just wanted to leave this one thing with you, man. They out there, man. They out there. I'm gonna tell you something. You know, consider yourself. If you have a CDL, consider yourself blessed, right? If consider yourself blessed. Okay, you bringing home that money every week or every other week, or when you get paid or whatever. Consider yourself blessed. If you lose them license, it's going to be. You better be able to replace that income. Because a lot of us got comfortable making the type of money that we make, right? So the minute, and then it's pretty easy. It's easy. What you gotta do? Downshift, upshift, turn, make hit, keep your distance, be safe. That's easy. That's easy, and you're making good money, right? So I'm your boy Swizzy, man. Keep your license safe, man. DOT is out here and it's going to crack down on you guys, man. They're coming down like a hammer. So I'm gonna go. I appreciate every last one of you guys for the likes and subscribe and hit the new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you guys hit that like button, share this video with a truck driver, man. All right, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I'm your boy Squeezy. Peace out. And be safe. That's the main thing. We gotta make it home. All right.